This is History for Cocktail Parties with hack historians Thornton Kennedy and James Ottley.
Welcome to History for Cocktail Parties. My name is Thornton Kennedy.
I'm James Ottley.
And this is our second episode on the evidentiary anomalies in the investigation into the assassination of JFK.
That's right.
Do you want me to set the stage real quick and review where we are and how we got to this point?
That's a great idea.
On November 22nd, 1963, JFK was shot at 12:30 p.m. in Dealey Plaza in Dallas, Texas, while riding in an open-top limousine. He struck twice, once through the upper back and throat, and once fatally in the head. Texas Governor John Connally was also seriously wounded. Kennedy's pronounced dead at 1 o'clock at Parkland Memorial Hospital. Now, the man that's arrested for the assassination is Lee Harvey Oswald. He's a Texas School Book Depository employee. He's arrested around 1:45 p.m. He also tragically killed Dallas police officer J.D. Tippit. Now, following Oswald's assassination by a nightclub owner named Jack Ruby, the new president of the United States, Lyndon B. Johnson, establishes the President's Commission on the Assassination of President Kennedy, which is known to history as the Warren Commission, because Supreme Court Justice Earl Warren oversaw the commission. But there were immediately evidentiary inconsistencies surrounding the investigation, the assassination. Last episode, we talked about Lee Harvey Oswald's movements inside the Texas Book Depository building, conflicting witness testimony, and the mysterious second-floor encounter with Officer Marion Baker. Now, what I find most interesting, and I didn't know about until we started researching this episode, is that second committee, the House Select Committee on Assassinations, which in the 1970s found that there was likely a second shooter on the grassy knoll and that Kennedy was probably assassinated as a result of a conspiracy.
I think most people don't know about that.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting dive into some, you like to say it's not conspiracies. It's just evidentiary information, witness accounts that contradict one another.
Exactly. Stuff that doesn't quite add up. Or stuff that makes you think.
Stuff that makes you go.
There you go.
As we are History for Cocktail Parties, we do like to have a signature cocktail with each episode. And today, I am once again drinking alone. I am drinking what is known as a grassy knoll highball. This thing is 2 ounces of Russian vodka. Hey, let's do more than a splash of ginger ale, because that was the mistake I made last time.
Right on. And
a slice of lemon on top, and with a little bit more ginger ale. I would say more like a 50-50 split.
Yeah.
It's drinkable.
Yeah. It looks like a great drink for sure.
The first pass at it was like taking a shot of vodka. This gives me an opportunity to talk about our partner's play. History is full of lessons learned, and one of the big ones is that those who don't take action get run over by those who do. Play is a full-service ad agency that helps brands find their spark or reignite it. Their team of creative, quote, players, end quote, turns bold ideas into action with smart strategy, design, and digital know-how, helping new businesses launch strong and established ones move forward with fresh energy. Ready to grow your business? Get a free marketing consultation today at goplaydesign.com. That's goplaydesign.com.
Very good. We truly appreciate your support.
Absolutely. Now, James, where are we going next?
Well, I'm going to start with Oswald's fingerprints. Oswald's fingerprints on the murder weapon, the 6.5 millimeter Italian Mannlicher Carcano rifle that's in the National Archives in Washington, D.C., and is the rifle that, according to the Warren Report, is the murder weapon. I'm going to skip over the curious fact that Oswald's money order for the rifle somehow miraculously arrived at Klein's sporting goods stores in Chicago one day after he mailed it from Dallas.
Wow.
Dallas to Chicago in one day.
It's impressive.
Before FedEx. And that the rifle was shipped without the requisite federal firearms paperwork being completed. We're going to skip over that. We're also going to skip over the fact that the two law enforcement agents that originally found the rifle thought the rifle that they found was a German 7.65 millimeter Mauser. And even they put that in. They put that even
Man,
in.
There's a lot of hair in there. You're just leaving over
in their affidavits. It's a pretty big thing.
Interesting.
Also, going to skip over the fact that in 1992, the Assassination Records Review Board came across an empty evidence envelope from Dallas, dated December 3rd, 1963, identifying the contents as a 7.65 millimeter shell that was found in Dealey Plaza. Same type of shell that this type of Mauser would fire.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I'm going to skip over
all of that.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, that one of the officers that found the rifle and misidentified it, thought he saw a Mauser, or maybe did see a Mauser, actually had owned a sporting goods store. So he knew his rifles. We're going to skip over all of that. Okay. So on to the actual fingerprints, Oswald fingerprints on the bolt-action 6.5 millimeter Carcano rifle that's in evidence. So Lieutenant Day of the Dallas Police Department examined the rifle for fingerprints shortly after it was discovered by Deputy Sheriff Boone on the 6th floor of the Texas School Book Depository, as we talked about last time. And Lieutenant Day noticed that there were 2 fingerprint traces on the metal housing near the trigger. Lieutenant Day wrapped that area in cellophane to protect it. A day later, FBI agent Vincent Drain came to pick up the rifle to deliver it to the FBI fingerprint expert named Agent Latona. Again, this was November 23, one day after the assassination. And again, the only area that Lieutenant Day wrapped was the area near the trigger. Just something to remember, okay?
All right, got it.
All right, so the FBI fingerprint expert, Agent Latona, determined that the prints that were near the trigger, the ones that were wrapped in cellophane, were, quote, insufficient for purposes of either affecting identification or determination that the print was identical to prints of other people. So it was basically useless.
Useless prints.
Means he could not determine that they were Oswald's. Agent Latona examined the rest of the gun and didn't find any fingerprints. He also indicated that he did not see any evidence of any lifted fingerprints. And a lifted fingerprint is a fingerprint that investigators, they remove it from a surface and transfer it onto like a special backing, like an index card or something like that, to preserve it. And the process is like there's a latent or invisible fingerprint. It's made visible with powder chemicals. Right. Investigators place a clear adhesive tape over the print. The tape lifts the powdered print and bridge pattern off of the surface, and then the tape is placed onto like a card or something like that, or backing to preserve it.
Very CSI. I think I've seen that done on TV countless times.
Okay, fantastic.
But now I have an idea of what that actually is.
Exactly. Makes a permanent portable copy of the fingerprint. So November 29th, 6 days later, after Agent Latona had gotten the rifle and examined it, the FBI lab in Washington received a lifted fingerprint card, one of these cards that was sent by Lieutenant Day, again, the Dallas police officer who examined it and wrapped the trigger area in cellophane. And the card had a palm print on one side, and it had a handwritten note on the other side of the card that said, quote, off underside, gun barrel, near end of grip, C2766, which was the serial number on the rifle. And according to the Warren report, Lieutenant Day says he lifted the print on the day of the assassination, and he also says he did not send the lifted print card until November 26th because he expected Agent Latona, the FBI expert, to find the traces of it. So that's why he didn't send it before. When FBI Agent Latona examined the lifted print, on the card, eureka! He determined that it actually was the right palm print of Lee Harvey Oswald. Wow. So that card, sent 6 days later, is what linked Oswald to the rifle.
Even after the expert looked at it, there was nothing on there, nothing that could be lifted.
Exactly. He didn't see
there
anything.
Was a perfect print lifted.
Yeah. And then sent in 6 days later. And other experts determined and confirmed that this was the palm print of Oswald.
Whatever's on this card.
Yeah, exactly. So Lieutenant Day said he didn't realize that he had completely lifted the palm print off the rifle when he lifted the print, and he expected Latona to find the print on the barrel. And he just sent the fingerprint card, just in case, so he'd have it.
Right.
But why didn't he wrap that area in cellophane?
Right. You know that there's a fingerprint on there.
Yeah.
And you just left it exposed?
Yeah. When you wrap the other So anyway,
you would think.
Kind of interesting. So the chief counsel for the Warren Commission, J. Lee Rankin, had problems with this too. This late arriving,
Right?
It was like votes arriving
Right,
after the fact. And it was an internal Warren Commission memo that was dated August 28, 1964. Quote, Mr. Rankin advised, because the circumstances that now exist, there was some serious question in the minds of the commission as to whether or not the palm impression was removed from the rifle barrel.
Wow.
Right? It goes on, or whether it was obtained from some other source.
Oh, my
Close
God.
quote. Yeah. So literally, the Warren Commission chief counsel, had questions about this, and he asked the FBI to question the Dallas police officer, Lieutenant Day, who did it, who sent this card, or who lifted the print.
And can I remind our listeners that J. Edgar Hoover, the director of the FBI, said shortly after Oswald was assassinated that there needed to be evidence that proved that Lee Harvey Oswald was the real killer.
Yeah, and that needed to get right immediately after.
And this is the FBI, that's...
Yeah. So chief counsel asked the FBI to question Dallas police officer Day about the lifted print.
Right.
And so Agent Vincent Drain, he's the one that picked up the rifle originally and delivered it to the FBI fingerprint lab, says that he interviewed or took a statement of Lieutenant Day. And his statement is, hey, he was not told about this palm print when he picked up the rifle. That's what Agent Vincent Drain says. And so he questioned Lieutenant Day, took his statement. And Lieutenant Day's response was that he told Agent Drain, I told you about it, about the palm print, but you must have forgotten, or Agent Drain, must have forgotten. So Agent Drain, who's taking this statement, asked Lieutenant Day to sign his statement that he had just given.
Sure.
Lieutenant Day wouldn't sign it.
Huh.
It's crazy. And, Dallas police, they had all his fingerprints, from when they booked him. Including this, palm print.
So and as we learned in our MLK assassination episode, fingerprinting was the thing.
That's right.
That was the evidence. That was the most important thing that tied the criminal to the crime was that fingerprint.
Absolutely. And so the one print that ties Oswald to this rifle, the rifle that was found in the 6th floor of the book depository,
these are just facts.
These are just some questions about
this is all in the Warren report.
That's right. That's right.
Crazy.
Indeed. So I want to circle back to some of the witness accounts of what happened immediately after the president was shot.
Sure.
And motorcade left Dealey Plaza, sped off to Parkland. So the official story, the Warren report, says that Oswald left the school book depository 3 minutes after the shooting. And this was 12:33. He boarded a bus 7 blocks away at the corner of Elm and Murphy. The bus driver identified Oswald at a police lineup as the man that boarded the bus. Oswald says he left in a bus, and when he was arrested, he had a bus ticket in his pocket. It was stamped with a marking specific to this bus. It was dated 11/22/63. And Oswald's former landlady was on the bus. She said he got on the bus. And then Oswald got off the bus.
Lots of corroborating.
Yeah, absolutely. No question he was on the bus.
Seemed to be.
Right. But a couple of witnesses who were in Dealey Plaza gave testimony that contradicted this.
Wow.
Yeah, and it did not work out too well for them. Kind of scary. So there was a guy named Richard Randolph Carr. He was in the courthouse across the street from the Texas School Book Depository. He's walking up the stairwell. He stopped on the stairwell for a while, looked out across the street at the school book depository and saw a man in the 6th floor of that building in a window, looking out at the second window from the southeast corner,
right?
We talked about where the sniper's nest was. And he was, quote, a heavy-set man wearing a hat, a tan sport coat, and horn-rimmed glasses. Well, this is obviously not...
That does not sound like Lee Harvey Oswald.
At all, right? So, Carr hears shots. He thinks a car has backfired. He runs downstairs to see what happened. And he goes out onto Houston Street. As I mentioned, they pronounce Houston Street correctly there. And he saw this same man, the man in the sport coat that he saw on the 6th floor. He saw this man walk a block east and get into like a 1961, 1962 Rambler station wagon that was parked behind the depository on Record Street. And just for non-car buffs, the Nash Rambler was this compact car that was made in the 1950s by Nash Motors.
Okay.
Nash Motors ended up merging with Hudson Motor Car Company. It became American Motors Corporation. Yeah, which originally had made Jeep and
sure.
famous pacer and things like that. Anyway, that's what the Nash Rambler is. So according to Carr, the FBI pressured him to change his statement. They said, if you did not see Lee Harvey Oswald in that school book depository with a rifle, you didn't see it.
Wow.
Yeah. And later, Dallas Police Department raided his house in the middle of the night, claiming they were looking for stolen goods. Kind of weird. Not long after he gave that conflicting testimony, he started receiving threatening phone calls to leave Texas. He actually did leave Texas. He moved to Montana, and he found dynamite taped to his car ignition. And I wonder, you think this is something that would be covered by your insurance if your car was blown up?
I would hope you were working with a good insurance brokerage company.
Exactly.
Like Sterling Seacrest Pritchard, which is one of the Southeast's largest privately held insurance brokers and quite possibly the only agency brave enough to tackle everything from construction mishaps to healthcare misadventures, logistics disasters, real estate whoopsies, and even ransom notes from hackers who apparently have never heard of two-factor authentication. When it comes to your home, your business, and all the weirdness life can throw your way, SSP has you covered, usually before you even realize you need it. For a friendly guide through, wait, that can actually happen, to, do I need a lawyer? Call 678-424-6503 or visit sspins.com. That's sspins.com.
We truly appreciate your support.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So his car did not blow up.
It did not, but he saw dynamite taped to the ignition. After that, right before he was going to testify in the Jim Garrison New Orleans trial, the one that Oliver Stone made the movie, that's where he made the movie about. Right before he was going to testify in that trial, gunman attempted to kill him. I guess this was in New Orleans. And then later on, he was stabbed in Atlanta. But managed to kill one of the attackers.
Really?
Yeah, which we need to look up.
Yeah, he's a badass.
Yeah, exactly. But, did all of these things happen because he saw something different? Who can say?
What you said earlier about the FBI saying you need to change your story.
Yeah.
That sounds very similar to Ralph Leon Yates.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
It was the fellow who picked up the hitchhiker who was, for all intents and purposes, he believed
absolutely
was Lee Harvey Oswald, but contradicted the story.
Right.
Passed numerous lie detector tests and was declared insane.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he refused to change his story. Sounds like this is another example of a lot of pressure being applied to an individual who contradicted.
Right. If these things were done by, a state actor, who knows?
Who knows?
Maybe they're just an unlucky guy.
These are just accounts by witnesses that are in the public record.
Indeed. So there was another witness, Marvin Robinson. He was driving through Dealey Plaza immediately after the assassination. He had to slam on his brakes to avoid hitting this light-colored Rambler.
Again with the Nash Rambler.
Yeah, exactly. That suddenly pulled over to the curb. He saw the Rambler, he said, pick up a man running down the grass from the school book depository.
Wow.
Robinson's employee was in a car behind him. He saw the same thing.
Wow.
Neither of them, though, could identify the person who jumped in the Rambler, but they saw the Rambler.
But there was nothing like he was a heavy-set man with a hat.
They did not. They could not.
No ID, no identification.
Right. But
that's hugely disappointing.
Again, wait for this. You referenced Ralph Leon Yates and the lookalike, the Oswald lookalike. So listen to this. Two other witnesses, Helen Forrest and Heather Pennington, saw a man running down from the back of the school book depository down to the street in front of the building, get in a Nash Rambler station wagon.
No way.
And both of them said the man looked exactly like Lee Harvey Oswald.
What?
Yep.
Wait.
Kid you not.
What?
But the craziest, craziest story of them all is that of Sheriff Roger Craig.
Right.
This is absolutely insane. So Sheriff Roger Craig was standing in front of the same courthouse that Carr was walking up the steps.
Right.
Here's gunshots, and he stated that he ran into Dealey Plaza when he began looking for bullet marks and whatever he could see.
Everybody was coming to the scene of the shooting, which is normal. People are just that way. But as I was searching the south curb of Elm Street, I heard a shrill whistle. It drew my attention. It was coming from across the street. And there was a light green Rambler station wagon driving real slow west on Elm Street. and the driver was leaning over to his right, looking up at a man running down the grass. So I immediately tried to cross the street to these two people into custody for questioning. Just, everybody else was coming to the scene. These were the only two people leaving. I mean, this was suspicious in my mind, at the time.
We were just listening to an interview that Sheriff Roger Craig gave in the 1970s to an interviewer on TV.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, pretty crazy. So Craig contacted the Dallas Police Department to let them know, what he had seen and the description of the man. And Captain Fritz contacted Captain Fritz, who's the head of the Dallas Police Homicide Bureau. And Captain Fritz said, man, that sounds like the man that we have in custody. Why don't you come on down and take a look at him? And so when he got down there, Captain Fritz said, according to Sheriff Roger Craig, he said, "Is this the man you saw?" And Craig said, "Yes." And so here is Sheriff Craig, a sheriff.
Positively identifying.
Yeah, exactly. Seeing Oswald or an Oswald lookalike run down and get in a Nash Rambler station wagon. This next thing is really weird. Really weird. So Captain Fritz says to Oswald, "This man saw you leave." And Oswald said, quote, "I told you I did." And then Fritz says, quote, "What about the car?" Close quote. He said he doesn't. And again, Fritz does not say, "What about the Nash Rambler?" He doesn't say, "What about the station wagon?" And Oswald responds, "That station wagon belongs to Mrs. Payne. Don't try and drag her into this." Just for the record, Miss Payne was Oswald's wife's landlady. Whole different story there. But the fact that he mentions a station wagon and
knew the car that they were talking about.
Yeah, now they didn't say Oswald did not say Nash Rambler, but he said that station wagon.
Wow.
That's pretty weird.
How would he know?
Exactly.
How would he have any idea of all the cars that are in Dealey Plaza that day?
Exactly.
That it was that make of a car.
Indeed. Well, again, it was a station wagon. He did not say Nash Rambler. He just said that station wagon belongs to Ms. Payne.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So the point here is that, Sheriff Craig saw Oswald or an Oswald double get into a Nash Rambler, which other people saw, and drive off, or the car drove off. So long string of coincidences similar to cars here. Right. Sheriff Craig was not a lucky guy after that. He was shot at in 1967. In 1970, his car was blown up.
Really?
In 1971, he was run off the road in West Texas. All of this is in this interview that we listened to a snippet of. It's on YouTube. So there were two cars blockading the road with two guys with shotguns, and he had to avoid them, drive off the road. He was injured in that.
Were they dressed in dark suits and black ties?
Oh, God, that's a great question. Great one. So 1973, a man shot him in the shoulder with a shotgun.
Wow.
And I think it's worth mentioning that Sheriff Roger Craig was He was well-respected among his peers.
Right.
He won the Dallas County Sheriff's Man of the Year Award in 1960. He's promoted 4 times at the Sheriff's Department. He wasn't some kook, And then, another strange thing and tragic, May 15th, 1975, Sheriff Roger Craig was found dead from a gunshot wound to the chest from a rifle. And the death was ruled a suicide. But
shot yourself in the chest with a rifle?
Oddly, yeah.
Using your feet?
Right. Well, and the wound was at a downward angle.
So
it's really hard to shoot yourself with a rifle at a downward angle. And the rifle, here's the other thing.
It's not even hard. It's almost damn near impossible. I mean,
exactly. And also, the rifle was found on the bed. Craig's body was in the middle of the bedroom floor.
Oh, wow.
Weird.
Wow.
And there was a .45 caliber handgun that was on the dresser next to his bed. So why,
Right.
Why not use that, So Sheriff Craig, he was not known to have any suicidal tendencies. His son, Roger Craig Jr., went to the morgue to claim the body, and the police, oddly enough, had gathered all his father's belongings from his residence, including records and notes about the assassination, his notes about the assassination, and brought these notes in boxes for some reason to the morgue. It was like 6 to 8 boxes.
Wow.
I know, right? And so the son takes these boxes to his grandmother's house. One night later, house is broken into. All the boxes are stolen.
Oh, my God. You've just unbelievable.
Right?
Unbelievable.
Son goes to the bank to shut down his father's account. It's supposed to be $60,000 in there, a lot of money back then. And the checkbook, they say, look, this checkbook, this is for an account that never existed.
Wow.
Money disappeared, never existed.
Good Lord. These are the most, either they're the most unlucky people in the world, or, and again,
Very
I'm
unlucky.
going into the conspiracy land here.
Have I converted you?
It is. These coincidences are a little much. I completely understand why people seize on to all this stuff.
Right on. So then and this is just the tip of the iceberg. So the Georgia connection. My law professor at the University of Georgia,
really?
Donald E. Wilkes Jr.
This is where all this was planted.
Maybe. He is really into this, and he's done some research. And
that's awesome.
It is pretty cool. And so he wrote an article, and this was from police and FBI reports, that shortly after the assassination, a red 1963 Chevrolet Impala, not a Rambler.
Right.
But a Chevrolet Impala was reportedly seen speeding away from Dealey Plaza. The car reportedly had a Georgia license plate.
What?
52J1033. And when investigators traced this plate, they found it belonged to a guy named James Cecil Bradley of Twin City, Georgia.
Wow.
Bradley had told the FBI that his license plate had been stolen months earlier, back in like August or September 1963, when he left his car on the side of the road with a flat tire to go get help.
Right.
And so this information appears in investigative records, and it was actually cited by the House Select Committee on Assassinations. There was no confirmed connection between this car and the assassination, but kind of weird that somebody stole a license plate, put it on a car.
The FBI investigated it, too.
Yeah, and then this car is seen speeding away from Dealey Plaza at this time. One other kind of weird connection to Georgia. And we have a special tie to Georgia.
Interest in this.
Yeah, interest in this. Others might not. But Lee Harvey Oswald's address book was recently released.
This was in the recent evidence dump.
Yeah, right, exactly. Apparently, in this address book, or not apparently, in this address book,
it was 100% in the...
Yeah, the son of I'm not going to say the name, but son of a prominent Atlanta family was listed. And the address where this family lived, 60s, was Tuxedo Road, which is for those outside who are not familiar with Atlanta, it's very exclusive address to have.
Wow.
It's in the very exclusive and Tony Buckhead neighborhood area.
Did this family have ties to the Cuban government? Anything?
Who can say? But just why was this guy's wealthy Atlanta guy's name and address?
Lee Harvey Oswald's address book.
That's right.
That's impossible.
Yeah. So there is so much more.
James, I have a sneaking suspicion we're going to be returning to this.
Hey, I'd love to. I mean, if anybody wants to leave a comment, if anyone has enjoyed this 2-episode swing and wants another episode on maybe the sack and the fingerprints on the sack for the rifle that was allegedly, how it was brought into the Texas School Book Depository, or a myriad of other really interesting facts, just drop a comment. Let us know, and we'll see if we can't make that happen. This is History for Cocktail Parties with hack historians Thornton Kennedy and James Ottley.